Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is our year to shine, and I have been talking about a book called Enough lately. It's by Laurie McCammon. I have it here, but today's video is going to be a little deviation from that, although when you think about the word enough, of course, we think about resources in our world, including money, right? And you know that's one of my topics that I like to talk about. If you've been following my channel or you've happened upon any of my entries related to money and my budgeting system, then this is going to be similar but different to the things I've done in the past, because I've talked about like the energy of money. I've talked about the system of figuring out a budget and my cash envelope system, but I've never actually taken you through what I do in my financial peace little ringed binder here. And I've put up like a mock sheet together for you for the month, and just wanted to talk about like setting up the year. That's why I didn't want to delay this video, because it's already near the end of January. And if you're wanting to start a system for 2021 and really get on track more with keeping track of where you're going, like your debt payoff or like what your bills are, or setting up a budget, I didn't want to wait too much longer. So I've set up a sheet, like a mock sheet for the month, so that I can go through like what I do at the beginning of each month and then at the end of each month on the sheet. And since it is the beginning of the year as well, and I mentioned this in another video about some of the things I did on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day to just sort of like set goals for myself, see where I want to be a year from now, and also, make some concrete decisions about like, this is how much I want to budget for. I mean, this wasn't on mine, but like I do want to start a vacation fund, but like this is how much I'm going to budget for vacation, and these are changes that I'm going to make. So I've had this this little spiral Erin Condren notebook for a few years, and there's so many pages in it, so I can write freely. I don't even need to replace it yet. I probably will get another year or two out of it, but I've used it for at least 3 years, and so I always have similar sheets in it for each month. I used to do a little bit more with it as far as having 2 sheets per month, but now I've just dropped down to 1, but I'll still tell you what I used to do. So I did sit down on one page and I made a list of anything I wanted to change for 2021. And like one simple thing is that about my cash envelopes that I keep in my little piece folder. And I'm adding an envelope for Annabelle, my kitty. She's the co-host on the channel. And I was always putting all the pet stuff in with the groceries, but then I was finding like, the interval of me running out of cat food or cat litter or whatever, it was not really coinciding with my grocery needs and all that. So I'm separating her needs into an extra envelope this year. So it might be something like that, where you've decided that you're just going to change one procedure that you've had for the year prior. And I made some plans about things like, some things still related to my business. And I'm not going to say anything specific, but I will just, this is sort of specific, but I'm not going to use any specific amounts, I guess I'll say. I wanted to budget something in for getting money back into my IRA, and I have some goals about the payoff, and I was going to change, like I've actually changed the way that I'm paying some of my bills. I told you that I use cash predominantly, but then there's money that like I might pay something electronically online. So I actually have 2 checking accounts, and what I've decided to do is I'm moving money into that, and that's where I budget for the things that I know come out electronically. So I just don't carry like a debit card or anything around that relates to that. It's just like the money's in there, I know it, and that way, like I'm not a big debit card user anyway, because I use my cash, but it's like my money comes into my main checking account from income. And then this extra checking account, which I've had for years anyway, it was just sort of an extra one, I've just started using it differently where it's so that I can budget, so that it's like, all right, I know I'm putting X amount of money in there each month from the main checking account and the income that comes in. So it's like my main checking account is where everything comes in, and then I make decisions about, like, it goes to savings, it goes to the other checking for bills. Like, anyway, I know that's just a new change that I'm making. And I also, like, on that note, I changed some of the things, like my Easy Pass here in the Northeast, we have like the electronic toll thing. Like, I changed the account that came out of, and same thing with like where I get my gas. I have a gas card there, so I changed that, that a withdrawal to come from a different account. So anyway, long story short, I made a sheet with some changes, like just contemplating what was working from the year before and things that I wanted to change. I also sat down and I went through all of my accounts, and I just made a sheet like, this is where I'm starting on day 1 of 2021. And because the fall was so chaotic with moving and figuring out like what my expenses really were going to be at this new place, and working every day of the week and like 3 jobs, and like I got totally out of the habit of keeping track as well as I was on paper, like I'm going to show you today, like I do. So it feels good to be getting back into this habit. Of course, I didn't abandon my cash envelopes, and I just sort of kept the amounts the same as what I was always used to, so that I didn't have to make any adjustments. But it was good to sit down and go like, all right, this is what's actually in my retirement account right now. This is how I did, in 2020, like how much I paid off, like to actually like see the starting and the ending, which was really good. And then I sat down and just re-looked at my budget. Was there anything I needed to adjust? Was there something that I felt like, oh, I was running out of money in this particular envelope every month? And how did that correspond with the income that I have now, which is different than it used to be? Incidentally, see this little thing here? This came, I don't know, I think it came with a happy planner or something that I got, some sort of a journal thing. Annabelle likes to steal that, just like my feather. Like, so I have to keep this out of reach. Like, she would grab it in her teeth and she'd be carrying it around and stuff. Like, it's just what I use as a little page finder. And then I also made, and I just covered them up because I guess I'm kind of personal about my money, but I made a little sheet with stickers and stuff with my main financial goals. I typed them up and decorated it, and that's a page in the book. So then now on to what I do on a monthly basis. And again, I've just made like a little mock-up sheet with fake numbers and just examples of things. And the notebook's neat. It has like a little flag sort of colory thing on, either side of the page, whichever side you're on. And so I just put the date, January 2021. At the top, I put, can you see that okay? Yeah. At the top, I put income. And you might have paychecks every week, paycheck 1, paycheck 2, or you might get paid monthly, depends. Oh, and also, I like to find some sort of an inspirational quote that resonates just about money or abundance. So I chose a quote from Louise Hay. I live in a loving, abundant, and harmonious universe, and I am grateful and open to the unlimited prosperity that exists everywhere. So just kind of like a fun little mantra for the month. So underneath the income, then I determine what my cash envelope amounts are going to be. And again, these are fake numbers, and I only have 4 envelopes now. I had 3 originally. And you might have 20, depending on if you have kids and you want to have an envelope for their school lunch money, or other ways that maybe you go to the gas company and pay your bill in cash. So you may have different numbers of envelopes. So I just have my 4 envelopes with the amount I'm going to get. I did also tell you in that other video that it's fun to sort of figure out how I want the money from the bank. How many 50s, how many 5s, and all that. I usually just do that on a little, like a scrap piece of paper. And then I always list out what are my accounts, what is my starting amount, and then at the end of the month I'll say what's my ending amount. And on here I've included, like, these are, again, actually those are pretty much mine. So I have checking, savings, although I have 2 checking, which I told you, but I didn't put that on here. So checking, savings, like, you know, I'm saving for a new car, my car fund, my IRA, my emergency fund, and if you don't know what that is, then, you know, definitely look back at one of my other videos. And then cash on hand, so, which is also sort of like an emergency thing, but you know, I have it around in various places. So that's where I keep of like what I have, and then at the end of the month I'll say what's left. Then I also like, this is like a motivating thing for me, I just keep track of my debt payoff. So I have debt 1, debt 2, debt 3, whatever it is that you would write it down, and again, starting amount and ending amount. And then at the bottom, this is very simple as I'm saying this, like, and you could do it on the computer, you could make a spreadsheet, but to me there's like a physical, energetic thing about writing it down. And aren't you surprised I don't have stickers on each page? I don't. So on the bottom I have 3 sections: bills, spending, and special, like, and I have a plus mark because the special column is like, that's where I wrote down that I got the stimulus money from the government, you know, or like money from somebody, or Christmas gift cards or something like that. The bills would be things like your electricity, rent, or mortgage, cable, like the gasoline you put in your car, things like that. So just at the end of the month, I write those things down. And these are the things for me that are electronic, which is why it's different than these cash envelopes. Like, I have groceries, dining out, spending, Annabelle. But down here is like, you know, I would have paid the electric bill electronically, and the cable bill electronically, and the rent electronically, and then gas comes out, like, because I have like a Cumberland Farms ACH card, you know. So just looking at that at the end of the month and writing it down. Spending is like, so somebody's birthday, home improvement, if I went on a trip, or if I bought some new clothes or something like that. So again, it's just like reevaluating. These are for the end of the month, where you're just kind of writing down for yourself, like, what was different about this month than another month. And then I just added on the bottom, and actually that is my real amount. For me anyway, because I'm doing my January, or my fun envelopes all year round, I just wrote the January fun envelope. And you know, maybe I didn't say on the channel, but my budget that I gave each person that was making me one, I said I would spend up to $100, and so I spent $94.37 on the Hawaiian day, so I already wrote that down. So that's what I do the beginning of each month. And one other thing that I was going to say is, it's really good if you can get so that you're a month ahead, especially if your income is unpredictable. So what I'm saying is, like, yes, I'm tracking the income of what I actually am making in the month of January, but my cash envelopes are actually based on my income from the month before. So it's like, I already have that money in there, because if I'm not sure, like, say your income fluctuates, then how are you going to know how much you can really afford, you know, until you actually get the paycheck, like if you get paid per hour or something. So again, I know what my cash envelope amount is because I've had a budget for a long time. And then I also know for myself, it's not listed on here, but like where any excess goes if I do make like extra or get a bonus or something at work. So this is what I do. I think when you can get that little cushion too as well to be ahead, then it's going to add to that enough feeling that we're talking about right now. And I put the date too, and it's actually today, 1/22/21, and this is the day I always pay or get my money at the ATM or the bank for my cash envelopes. It's usually the third Friday of the month, and I do that because it's works with the way that I have my budget set up, and then also I still have some income from my business that comes in, and it takes a good like 10 days for that money to hit my account as well. So that's what works for me. So today I'll be filling up my envelopes, which is good because you know I budgeted perfectly, because I have, well, it would be nice if I had a little bit left. I actually have no dollars left at all. I spent everything, but I do have some coins, and there are some schools of thought where people will not use their coins. They'll just put them somewhere and then count them up at the end of the year, and that becomes like an extra savings fund. I actually use it. I keep it for change when I'm shopping. So I'll just leave it in there, and when I get my cash envelopes. So that was like a little bit of an excess, but I budgeted perfectly because I just went grocery shopping the other night, and it was like I had to actually take a couple things out because I had enough, but it was like I was buying a couple of extra things, and I was like, that's how much money I have, and I'm not going over. So you have to stick to the budget too if you are going to live in this way too. So I hope that was helpful. I will say again that, especially in terms of this conversation about feeling like there is enough and that you are enough, I think if you can really get a handle on your finances, that it will help with that feeling, because I told you there's so much peace in me knowing that I have enough. I already prepared for it. It's not like I'm flying by the seat of my pants and there's no roadmap. This is like, this money that I have for my groceries is already taken out. I don't have to worry. Like, it's not dependent on when my next paycheck is, because I told you there was time in my life in the past where I would be like, oh my God, I have $12 to make it until my next paycheck, which wasn't until like the next week or something. So I don't ever want that feeling again. So a part of my feeling like there is enough is this whole concept of preparing ahead of time and just having the ease and the flow about spending. And yeah, there was a little bit of me at the grocery store when I was like, because I don't normally totally run out. So there was a little bit of me like, ooh, like that doesn't usually happen. Like I usually have a little bit of extra. And I'm thinking back now, like I did do like a little splurge for my friend's birthday, and I did do a couple of home improvement things and stuff. So I did actually spend some of my spending money as well. So yeah, it's rare that I totally run out, but guess what? I ran out, but it wasn't like I went into debt, and I didn't overspend, so that's a good feeling as well. And I know I'm getting all new envelope money today, so that feels good. Hope you got something out of this. Hope that you feel inspired to make some changes financially, and that it personally affects your feeling of the enoughness that we're talking about. And I will continue on with my discussion of Laurie McCammon's book, Enough, as we explore that topic. Thanks so much for being here. I'm excited about February too. I already have some ideas. We will at that time be done with the book Enough, and I have a fun plan for February, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what my next fun envelope adventure is going to be. So stick around. There'll be so much more for our year to shine in 2021. Love to you all. Bye-bye.